Hi, welcome to my tube. My name is Margie. I'm a Hilk empath, and I just like having these little talks on the way I feel about things. It was touch and go for a little while there if I was going to do it. I was dragging my feet. I was like, I got sucked in a dip. And then I went and popped on, I wish I knew the kid's actual name. Peace Dealer. He was doing a live for Scorpio, Pisces, and Aquarius, I think. Their signs. So I hung out with him. He's got a good vibe, and he's got, his freak tribe, his frequency. It's a high vibe, and the kid's smart. Kid knows what he's talking about. So I was listening to him and stuff, and I was like, and it, what the sun he was talking about was made sense to me with the placements of where they are in my alignments. Made perfect sense to me. So I was setting things up earlier, and there's an error. 504 404 error. There's just glitches, the gremlins in the interwebs chewing through the wires. Some connections broken, lost, reestablished in a new timeline. What are you gonna do? It's all kismet. I named the talk today Parachute Pants. I was thinking about that. I think about trends a lot. Trends to me are just flashes of energy, collective pockets of energy of like-minded spirits. So when people are buying the latest and the greatest, it's people that are, it's a lot of that. It is retail therapy of fitting in, going along with the Joneses. It was a saying that used to be, still is, it's just not used as much. Mainstream, doing what everyone else is doing just because you can. I've had a full spectrum day. I'll just, without telling the story, because it's kind of freaking wiped me out just living it, I'll just give you a couple of scenarios. I brushed my teeth on my front porch, and there's a couple of freaking city employees. Right, first out of the gate. I'll just, going on with the storyline. I was like, are you here to turn on my water? No. And the guy said right out of his mouth, first thing out of his mouth, no, that's not my job. I'm just like, and then I'm like, God, for the love. It's like a tell to me. It's like somebody that has a crap hand and they pull on their nose or do something every single time they have a crap hand. Yeah, that tells me they have a crap hand. Yeah, well, every time somebody says those words to me, I was just doing my job. Because all I flash like every instance of how people haven't helped me because of their pay grade, and they make so much more money than me. And them helping me isn't gonna hinder it. It's not like they're skipping a meal, or nothing. So that went that way, and then I went to the bank, and then next to me there is a city employee in a city employee truck about 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm adamant about the fraud, waste, and abuse, and I think that is, in my mind, is when you're doing private, personal things on company time, you're part of the problem. I've been trying to stay chill all day long. Just trying to keep the balance of the energy of the room, because I get wound up, man, and then all the dogs get wound up. And then they just want to soothe me, and I don't think it's their responsibility to soothe me. I love them. And because I love them, I'm going to soothe myself. So I did get to manage to meditate state for about an hour or 20 minutes today. Clear my energy field. I'm just sick of the bullshit. And that was before I went to a flower shop that I'll never go back to. I'm not even going to freaking waste my breath on those freaking chump change. It's basic human beings. It's the power play. It's the control freak. It's the narcissist. It's their playground right now. It's the people, you know who they are. When you were younger and you play games and they'd always change the rules so it was in their favor. They just always made stuff up. Oh, like the Nellie Olsons. If you ever watched Little House on the Prairie, that paradigm, that heart space, the ego, me, mine, 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 don't you know who I am? Blah, blah, all that. Anybody that cares about shit that you can't take with you, and when you crap on people to get that shit that you can't take with you, yeah. All that stuff, that power play, I will call it as I see it, and I will just never do business there again. I'm getting too old for this shit, man. There's too many other places that are cool. That aren't freaking control freaks. That aren't trying to put me in my place. 'Cause they can. Dude, I've freaking dealt with the most egomaniacal that exist. That's how I know that they exist, because I have dealt with them. And a lot of people have lived in a little glass house in a little bubble where they're tucked away. But they've evolved. They've grown like a weed. Like a weed unattended in a field. They've grown and gotten rampant, out of hand. And I think about when I was growing up, the people that did, they wore parachute pants. Like the rich kid, the brat, got everything he wanted. Next latest and greatest thing, I remember the type of kid who wore parachute pants, Now they're cops. And I noticed that. I got a pair of that. And that's the thing. That's what sets the trajectory, is the heart space. And where do you point your heart? Is it going to go up towards the collective consciousness, the highest vibration of love, where everyone can feel good? Or is it going to go down in greed, where it's all about you and your feelings and how you feel, and if you feel good? I look around, these people that are just doing their job, you obviously get paid too much, clearly. Heart attacks waiting to happen. I feel a big old fitness wave coming back on. That's what I feel. Because we're stepping into an age where integrity counts. And people look at people. I look at people. I'm of that mind. You ain't helping yourself by being unfit. So how is anybody going to help me out, advance me in life, when they feel so small they can't care enough about themselves to go walk around the block, up and down the street? Or if you're mad and angry at stuff, same thing, same principle. It's energy. That's all density is dispersed energy. Hurt feelings, you don't say it, so it stops right here. I bought a pair of pants because I'm like safety first. I'm all support, man. I've seen a lot of, I've been like randomly on the scene of a lot of accidents in my whole life. I have a lot of life experience and a lot of errors. What happens is when you build up, some people have it for their job, like have high stressful jobs. Well, the more stress that you're exposed to, the older you get, you short out. That's why you get more sensitive. That's why you have more people just freaking running their mouths all over, saying what they think. Not that they're necessarily violent, but they're calling bullshit bullshit. But people have been demonized for doing that. Oh, you're not being nice. You're not being... Well, where in the world would I learn how to be nice? Where would I learn how to be nice? When I'm an empath and all I feel is people and what they think, the grossness they think that I am, and how shitty they treat me, and knowing that people recognize in other people the things that they see in themselves, so they're projecting their own shadow onto me. And for that, I've been escorted into the median, into the middle of the street by sheriffs. Aren't they supposed to protect and serve? It's the ego. And that's what society is beginning to look at, the ego and the control freak. It's this huge split, the empath and the narcissist. It's like light and dark, you know? Are you in it to win it, shadow? Or is there enough for everybody? Because you've been hungry before, light. Yeah. Oh, I did not just flick on it. I'm embarrassed. Anybody in the chat today? Oh my god. That's the... Yeah, one of them 12 by 12s. The 12 by 12. Yeah, that's the Archon. That's what I was thinking of. Every time I fucking run into some little dipshit that's trying to freaking get me to adjust my behavior at all. At all. You know? I'm like, this shit is a nightmare for me. I'm a rule follower, right? Because this stuff is my background. I'm like, this is what I did. I'm like, I could go through and do a checklist about how you all are doing it wrong. And I can give you my background and my experience. My stuff is in like all this stuff it practices on, because nobody's ever thought, because these people in positions of power, they're just rich lawyers. Rich lawyers are unimaginative. That most of them have never taken a fucking art class in their whole entire life. I used to work at a law school. I worked next to these kids. I know the mentality of them. And it's in their, it's just what they've done, because it's what their family has always done. Or it's a quick buck, you know, you're smart. I mean, it's just, I know that mentality. They're a dime a dozen. They all think the same, and they all have egos, and the creepy, gross shit that egos do because they deserve it, it gets pretty nasty. I have stopped listening, or I appreciate the music and the contributions to my source and my spirit of artists that, you know, I've come in alignment with. But then you get to the point, you find out things that they do and who they are, and it kind of makes sense through the timeline, you know, and people have a choice to act less of what they used to be or step more into of what they used to be. It's living more into the light or the shadow. And a lot of people are really picking ego shit, and people do weird, gross, disgusting, nasty, perverse stuff for beauty, youth, vitality. It's disgusting. And it's a tell for me that you are of tiny little spirit. All these people that promote all these, you know, and that's what's so beautiful. For regardless, it doesn't matter how this situation became to be. It's the Earth's cleansing. It started freaking back in, dude. That's what, dude. Come on, what? Start back at the Great American Eclipse. What is the solar eclipse? Is to get people to fucking wake the fuck up. That's what they are to do. And all that passed through it, and all the symbolic, synchronistic. I mean, it started then, and people are just like, oh, look at the pretty eclipse. Anybody look the eclipse, and then now you see freaking different densities and floaties, and yeah, it's inside your eyes, but you're seeing ultraviolet rays and shit like that now that you didn't see before. Well, a lot, and it could be that, it could be just aging, you know. But how would we know what we could see when so many people make so much money just keeping your eyes the same? Where energy isn't seen in 2020. So much isn't seen in perfect vision. People are starting to figure out, and all this stuff that people are like, woo, oh, it's woo. Yeah, the whole world's woo-woo. We're talking multi-dimensions, people. Inner Earth. What if inner Earth is a concept? What if inner Earth is a place where all of people like me end up that used to be a vibrant part of society, but fallen through the cracks because we have raised in frequency past all the bullshit. I have so much better things to do. I would rather lay and meditate for an hour and a half than think about the energy of like going to a fucking craps professional sporting event and all that it entails. Parking, lines, freaking drunken assholes around. Because I always fucking remind somebody of somebody that they don't like. And every time I'm around somebody that drinks, they slip into a freaking timeline and they think I'm a part of it and I'm just a face. But people, that's what alcohol does. You remove the spirit and your ego steps in, and it doesn't. It's disgusting and it's gross, but people can just have just a few. How lucky of you. How lucky of you. I just want this out of my face. That's all. I'm not trying to be cute. I swear to God. It's getting long, and it's getting... I'm just trying to get to the point where it can all go back in a ponytail, and then I can decide, because I really want to cut it off. But it's also a practice and discipline. And that is how I look at it more than anything else at this point, is just a practice and discipline of getting to the goal of that step that I made a commitment to myself that I get it to the goal of a ponytail. Yeah. Because as long as it's out of my face, I'm cool. But it... Anybody in the chat? Yeah. Oh yeah, the people that are the people that make up the rules, like, have never taken an art class, and that's in or music class or anything like that. You got it, buddy? You get too hot? You got it? You cool? That's a man. I'm just talking to myself. Pretty much. You cool? Got too hot? Here, let me turn on the fan. Home slice. Yeah, it's funny. I knew it was gonna be a freaking warrior-esque type day, so I wore my freaking BDUs today. Kind of puts a bubble around me. People just, in the expression on my face, I'll be thinking about a grocery list, and people will be like, "What's wrong with you? Why are you mean?" I'm just like, are you kidding me? Get the fuck out of my bubble. Get up. That is a power play. When people dip into your little ray of sunshine, when they're trying to put some shadow on it, when they're butting in, that is a power play. Anybody doing that, you're gonna start seeing it. It's like a freaking superpower. I'll walk into a place and just be like, oh, it's just stupid. And all that tells me is that these are fearful people. Fearful people. Fearful. And fearful people don't have faith, because you can't have faith. So I'm actively looking and seeing at the people that won't wear them. I won't wear a mask. I won't wear a mask. I've had to wear, and this is all based off of, because they're unimaginative, so they're just using protocols that they use in, like, chem warfare procedures. It's really stupid. That's what all this one entry point shit is. And this one-way traffic. Are you kidding me? It's a 98, 99% freaking wellness rate. And their priorities are so skewed, because if it's a new bug, if it's a new ick in the world, if it's a new, what's the rush to have it tested? If it's around here to stay, you might as well wait and see, because if you don't have it now, you don't know, but I bet the chance of getting it is a whole bunch less if people put the spoon down, go walk around the block a few times, talk about your feelings, tell people how you feel about stuff, tell them when you're not happy about things, and then it hurts your feelings when they tell you, berate you, and talk to you in a condescending manner and treat you like you're stupid. Yeah, years. That's why I was telling a friend of mine today, I'm like, people have said the weirdest, crudest, most disgusting shit. And I'm like, I always come in cool, man. I always come in cool, like, looking to make a friend today. So when I get this power play shit, and I've had so much freaking stimulus in my life, I don't have time for intolerance for bullshit anymore. So now I'm just like, and I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. The only thing is I have a spiritual practice to keep my ass balanced. I meditate, I dance it out, I exercise, I go for walks, I take my pictures, I do my art, I do these. I have all these different outlets that I try to use my energy power source in creative, positive ways. People that don't do that, oh God, their heart attacks waiting for happen. You know, and the energy that's going on and spinning around the world, we're spinning around part in space, man. More and more egos are going to be shorting out because they can't contain themselves. And they're going to get triggered. They're going to get triggered. Just because they got a badge and freaking gear and freaking whistles and stuff. Dude, these people, because their expiration, their shelf lives of their like, I used to work in a radiology department in a teaching hospital, and you had meters that if you're around so much radiation that you couldn't, there were protocols, you know, that's like too much, you're working too much kind of. Don't worry, they never ever reached it, I assure you. Okay, that you want to know why you can't find doctors and stuff like that? Because they're all freaking pissing away their freaking 7-figure incomes. Yeah. Now things are different now. There are a lot more of them are busy now. They're earning their keep because they're, you know, all the years that they were just doing their jobs and keeping you waiting, all that, you know, because they could, because that's what egos do. Egos make people wait because they can. Egos put in a hindrance in a smooth operation just because they feel like it. The power tripper, man, oh my goodness. It's hard not to find them. And you know how I know? Because I can be that. I can. If I'm not careful and don't do my daily disciplines, I can be the power tripper because I can easily slip into the mindset of everybody out of my way. Don't you know what I've been through? Wah, wah, wah. And then I'm more of the same. Nope. Not today, Satan! I love that little stupid saying. It makes my dumb face smile. Oh, go, 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 go. We got much love to give, and that's watching from Sandia National Laboratory. That's funny. Everybody's in their own timeline. That's the thing. That's the thing is and the more people start seeing the reality of the world, then the more the world opens up to that reality. Booyah. A-ho. That one gets an a-ho. Like the more and more people start looking to the skies, you know, oh yeah, we got our neighbors, our sisters and brothers from the stars. Oh, absolutely. Dude, once more and more people start seeing it and adjusting the frequency to it, that's how I started seeing them more and more, as they are veiled in the clouds. It's all energy. And I was reminded that even more so because I saw an excerpt on the Flight of the Navigator, or the Last Navigator. It was a kid's movie. It was like in the early mid 80s, I think. Anyway, how it's like mercury in the old time thermometers. You break it and it was like you couldn't put your finger on it. It would dance around it and stay in liquid form. Yeah, that's how I see, you know. And it's all the space in between, and it's all controlled by energy. Cooperation is nature's way. So this hindrance that has been this storyline since freaking on and off, the controller and the controllee, you know, because most people just want to freaking get by in life. But see, the egos, they get out of hand. And when they're this out of hand, I read an article earlier, about an hour ago, about how the governor California wants to give a 10% pay cut to state employees. Well, I know a lot of people that's a 20% pay cut in their family because they're a state employee. It's a big tit in the system. It's a big club for the advantage of, I can't even get into the to be a state employee. I look at that testing system. It's a as an IT professional standpoint, the website is a human computer interface nightmare. It is such crap and taking the test for me, because I think of things in so many conceptual ways from my background. I'm like trying to figure out where they're coming from. It's a nightmare. And I'm pretty smart. But it's all about who's willing to put up with the crap. And there's a mindset that's willing to put up with the crap, and then they just do what they're told. They're just doing what their job, but they're fine putting up with the crap and playing pretend games and making up numbers and stuff like that. Here and there, all over the place, just making up numbers. Just you know what's a funny, interesting thing to me? I talk about this every now and again. Let's see if they'll welcome me back to that county. I probably won't live in that county, but I grew up pretty near Shasta County, in Shasta County, and ever since I was a little girl, I think Tucker wants to go to bed. You want to go under? I get to going. They just want to go get some rest. Ever since I was younger, like 9, 10. I mean, that's a rough, tough place to grow up, man. Redding, California, armpit of California, man. It's rough and tough, man. People get hot, tempers flare. They get hot, they get thirsty. They drink too much alcohol. They get dehydrated. They beat their wives, spouse. It don't matter. People start beating on each other because they got no emotional control because their spirit goes. It's a hard place to grow up and learn lessons, but I learned so many hard freaking lessons, that now I can feel the type of people that that act this way. I can feel them. I've reached that level of sensitivity as I can just feel freaking jerks and control freak it all. I can feel them in a crowd. I can tell them by the shoes that they wear, the brands of their, the laundry detergents that their wives use to do their laundry, because don't you know they work so hard? Trust me, I worked with them in a lot of paradigms. People that work hard aren't potential heart attacks waiting to happen. They don't, as they get older, they recognize the importance of fitness and health. So if they are in less ego, if they're more in their spirit, they're going to take better care of their soul sack. Yeah. That's all our bodies are, is our sacks for our soul sacks. So, people that don't recognize that they have their souls, they just completely live for their egos and do what, that's why they eat whatever they want. There's no discipline, And when people that have so much money that they have it all to spend, maybe you need some taken away if you can't discipline yourself. So maybe all these cuts are pretty good since people can't discipline themselves so much these days. Anyway, so growing up, there's always everybody knew it. It was like common knowledge that there's several prisons, and I've done videos about this. I've done the numbers. I didn't know I was going to talk about this now, so I'm not really so sure about what the stats are now. I can give you a rough idea of what they were a couple years ago, and it's the prison. It's the industry. It's making money, profit out of people, and that's the imbalance that the world has gone into. And I've talked about 51% for years. Talked about the heart space of 51%. I'm hearing other people catch on, and maybe we're just the same frequency, and they're tuning into the stuff that I've tuned in for a long time, and they're tuning into it too. Finally, they're getting the knowing that I've had for a while, but. Man, I hope people I hope people really remember to give credit where credit's due. So if you're hearing stuff from people, that you give credit about where you're hearing about it from. So taking, using stuff and it really catching on it's not for you to it's all it's freaking bullshit. That's why my circle's so small, man, because people just come up with some bullshit, man, some low vibey. They're always, it's like, hey, and that's why I talk about my anger and my crabbiness and stuff like that, because that's the shadow side of me. See? And I believe in karma so significantly that that's why I don't like to hurt people. I'm not spiteful because it comes back to me. Not to mention, I mean, it's just, it's nicer to be a good person than it is to freaking, it tears on your organs to be a freaking low vibrational being. It's gross. What people do to each other, it's disgusting. To make themselves feel better, it's plain gross. It's just, it's because they have no spirit. There's no consciousness. There's no, they're completely separate and void of any connection with anything bigger than themselves. It's all about them. And people like that is what are the majority of the people on the earth. And so no, they aren't fun to hang out with. I tell people that often. I said, it's so funny. I said, collectively, the human race makes I just, I feel that all these good elated feelings, but man, on an individual basis, people fucking suck. Mostly people suck. Yeah. Anyway, it's been my experience. So the prison system, they used to, and they still do. And that's the thing is this is in the 80s and it's 2020 and these are practices these are practices that are still happening, only they keep raising the numbers. They keep raising the numbers except for the numbers of the money to help people. Those never ever raise because they look at people of poverty as the drain on society. But what they don't realize is they are the drain of society because they sit at a desk all day, and that doesn't warrant anybody ever making six figures, ever. I don't care what you do behind the desk. It never, ever, and if you are being paid by the taxpayers of the people that you are supposed to be working for, never ever. That's the thing. If I ever am in a position, if I run for any kind of, they all make too much money. And that's a big reason why we're in, the trouble that, it's because people have to make money. So they had to cut cost, all this stuff. And like when you can't find stuff on the shelves and stuff, yeah, it's a supply chain thing. But a lot of this stuff, this Christmas is going to be, people are going to start making more and more and more gifts like it's always should have been, because there's going to be less technology because there, there's a lull and there's energy works that way, and or it could be the potential of technology not being there for all the latest gizmos because, people are pretty mad, so and all that stuff we could have been making here. So that's where, the administration again failed. Year after year after year, because all of these things slowly used to be manufactured here. Used to be so in the 70s, 80s, 90s, a lot more made in USA stuff. But no, people needed to get greedy and had to make more money, so they wanted kids and stuff to make it in other countries for far cheaper and shipping and all that. And then guess who else profits from shipping, because you're trafficking what? All kinds of stuff. Where's the humanity in that? All this crap and greedy ego, because egos just do what they want. They don't have any discipline. They don't do what they want. In religion, it's just the devil. That's all the devil is a glutton. Someone that his self-will is completely run riot. That's all that a freaking demon is someone that freaking is completely of their ego. He doesn't care about other people. That's all that all this glorified storyline is to freaking, in a fancy way, say, hey, you are the light, you're the shadow. And it don't matter if you are. If you're the shadow, I just want to know what I'm dealing with. Because the shadow and the person that I come across that's in the shadow, their shadow is only as big as the shadow in me and what I see in them. I'm of the shadow, and I get mad, but I mean, my mad isn't mad, considering I've seen what other people's mad is. you know, and I can beat myself all day long just because I talk from my diaphragm and I get excited, you know. I mean, so it's all about the perceiver, it's the perceptor, you know. So anybody think about that, like when you in the next week or so, think about it. The people that try to change the dialogue, I'm just like, because I'm loud. I'm autistic who had speech class who freaking learned to project at a very young age and be clear and enunciate because I was programmed to, because we're all just little freaking computers. That's all we are. Like the liver. So just like the fan in a PCU to keep it cool, everything cool, keep it balanced. Well, the liver really functions as toxicity. There's probably another component, but I mean, basically, you get what I mean. As above, so below. You know, there's a balance to everything, and I see it and it's almost to a detriment, man. It's kind of fun sometimes. It's kind of fun. I got a good life, man. I got a good life. This incarnation, they try to make it shitty for me, but I ain't gonna let them. Hey, AZ, Arizona cactus flower Yuma. What just happened? I don't know what just happened. Missed the first. Oh, hi, Brink Runny. I just am rambling on. I probably have been rambling on for far too long. Oh, God. I want to go up to McKinleyville. They have, or Macklin. I always pronounce it, because that's, see, you one-track mind. You get an idea about things, and no matter, I tell her a terrible speller, but at least I care enough to try and freaking spell. I mean, I'll look it up, because I don't want to look like an idiot. But I'm a bad speller, like with my friends and stuff. But I can't. I'm bad speller. I'm hooked on phonics, and that's the thing. It's not even being a bad speller. It's people freaking made the English language weird, and the shit that they, you know, it don't make sense. The letters and the sound that it don't match up, and I always struggled with that in speech. So I'm. You know, and I have addictive personality. I'm hooked on phonics. Even I have such an addictive personality. That's why it's. I don't really have a whole lot of sympathy at this stage of the game for people that can't not do things, that can't have the discipline to not do things that aren't good for them. Promiscuity, high spending on shit. Just going to bed next to someone every night that you don't love just because they're a warm fucking body. All this stuff. Outside stuff, just chasing sensations, that's what I call it. I'm gonna have some t-shirts made when this is lets up a little bit. Same Freak Tribe, FREQ, frequency. I'm always like coming up with stuff, I'm like, how come ain't nobody ever thought of that? Because I Google it. Oh, don't think I do not Google it. Go Google it. Just to see. It is funny. I don't know. Today's ended up with a nice flow. I think I'm winding down because I'm ready to go watch some six. Actually, I have a season finale of freaking Single Parents to watch, and the rest of some. With parachute pants. Look around at the kids that, you know, you grew up, and look at the rounds of, like, who ends up in the parachute pants and where the heart space is from. Because I never got, we were poor. See, so all that stuff, all that trendy stuff, I just only dreamed about getting it. Never got it. So now I get the likeness of it. Like, I got these pants. They're like Wranglers. Because I'm done with freaking Levi. Done. Well, I was about to order a pair of 501s, and I'm done because the crap that they've done. That's the thing, is you find out who people are, and these companies have so much money, and they could help people. They really could show who they really are. Their heart space comes, and no, it's all about their freaking third or quarter earnings. So I'm like, nope, done with them, and it makes me sad because these are freaking product. I liked 501s. I look good in them, but those days are over. There's some pictures of me, a couple play pictures here and there, so I have to rely on that heart space because I ain't gonna freaking give them my money anymore because they don't deserve it. and I, you know, and I often say this, like, I quit freaking Amacrap freaking 2 years ago because they're freaking greedy shysters. So, you know, I'll use them to freaking register, or not register, but research products and things like that. Then I go directly to the manufacturer and then I order it from them. Psh, psh. You know, they got greedy, they got gross. They could have helped so many people and they didn't. There's no humanity in that, and there's no spirit in that. And then I picture, you know, what are they doing behind closed doors to with people that do things like that, do weird things. Anyway, but the pants I spend, I spend $20 on a pair of pants. I used to have my D-bag days. See, that's the thing, is I used to be trying to figure it out. We all wear these different paradigms, these little different, I think of, like we're just all aspects of one spirit, one soul, like a disco ball. And just like everybody is every shade on that disco, we are every shade on that too. So we are all capable of freaking doing gross, horrific things under the circumstances. Most people aren't put in circumstances where they ever have to see. And now more and more people are considering their options and, you know, are determining that money is more important to them than, you know, not doing porn or whatever it is, you know, or people are selling their souls, and that's what they mean by selling their soul. Is just like, what scruples, principles, things that you said that you never would do, what are you willing to lay down and say, okay, I'm willing to do that now just to make money? That is what they talk about, selling your soul. That's all that it is when you live more of an outside world than of a spiritual world. And that's all that it is. So anyway, I should finish that. So California, what they do, they had like in the 80s, they had like 2 prisons. I think it's up to 4. Last in like 20 years ago, it was up to 3, 4. But they got a deal. See, they got a bargain. They got a deal. Is that you let all your parolees off in Shasta County, and then they give them a check, you know, give them an offer to freaking rehabs that are all full and stuff, you know, all this help that never comes, right? And then the crime rate's out of control, so they end up back in the prison system, right? So in the prison system, and I looked it all up on the government pages, in the prison system, they declare the vetting of a human being, of a prison inmate, is $70,000 for them to live in a cage. To eat slop, and Orange is the New Black is, or whatever that show is called, brought a lot of light to this stuff, and that's what they call people farming. It's like they say that it costs $70,000 to have all these people that were, you know, and just, you know, and then for every 10 or whatever, you got a guy with a gun and a taser and freaking all this arsenal and stuff just to kick their ass, you know, because he was beat up by his dad when he was a kid, so now he gets to take it out on everybody, you know. But he probably had parachute pants, so it's cool, because those are the kind of kids that had parachute pants, you know. Dad compensating, getting little Billy everything that he deserves, because when he gets drunk, he's a dick, and he's not, you know, and his spirit leaves and he beats his kid, and so he has to make up for him by pairing him parachute pants. And then these are the paradigms that they get involved in. Now they're wearing like full combat gear and stuff like that. It's so fun. It's just so easy. It's just, why doesn't everybody else see this? How come? Brr. So they say $70,000 for every inmate, and there's 194,000, or at the time I did this little thing, it was like 194, one, either or, 194,000 inmates. We'll say it was 174,000 inmates times 70,000. Look at the budget on that. You know, they inflate numbers, they make up numbers, and then and then the people that don't, and then they get out on the street where they aren't worth $70,000. So they put them in a position where, you know, they make them a felony. Nobody will hire a felony. Hopefully that heart space will change. You know, more impasse getting to HR and shit. And so they're not worth anything on the street, so it's just easier to go back into jail culture. You know? It's just... But the greedy, you know, the rich keep getting richer. So, anyway, that's about all I got for now. Hope you have a ratty